Hi everybody, I want to talk to you about language learning's deadliest sins. I've been working on Arabic, the language of Arabic, for 3 years now. And I have to admit, I have 5 kids, a lot of things going on in my life. So I don't always get 4 hours a day in. Sometimes I get tired, and sometimes I'm not as efficient of a studier as I should be. I haven't really had an opportunity to immerse myself into a society that speaks that language, which is always the best. Hopefully, I will get to immerse someday soon. First off, one of the toughest things about language learning, mental maturity. I'm kind of an immature guy, and I'll tell you, in order to master this language, you have to be able to postpone the desire for instant gratification, because the payoff is a long-term payoff. So it takes mental maturity. So I'm maturing as I go through this. I had a fantasy that I would live to be 500 years old. If I did, I would master every language. So if you just keep studying, as you get older, you will get better. I want it to happen faster. People ask, which program should I get? I say get every program you can afford, because every program's good. Even the bad programs, they're still good. You know what makes a bad program? A bad program is a program that isn't easy for a learner. I couldn't understand them because they were just way over my head. But as I've gotten better, I can go back to those books that were poorly conceived for new learners. They're called beginner books. But now, it's more material for me to consume. And as you get better in a language, you need more material. So buy everything you can afford and use it all. Another thing that's great about having variety, different programs. If I get tired of the program I'm working on, bored, concerned, if I hit a dead end and I can't solve a problem, now usually I'll try to look up the problem or ask a friend, but sometimes I'll stop and I'll move over to another program. And in the process, I'll come back and the problem will answer itself. Another neat thing about moving program to program, when you go away, your brain does a little work on that program while you're not there working on the other one. You'll come back and you'll be fresher on that program. So it's important to have variety. Same thing with vocabulary. Some people are perfectionists, and you'll start on vocabulary and you'll work on 50 words, and you keep working on the 50 words until you get them 100% right. Well, a month's gone by and you've almost got 50 words. If you had worked on 1,000 words, and every time you got 60 or 70% right, at the end of that month, you may have retained 400 words instead of 50. So perfection is kind of a killer. And that's one of the problems is I want things to be perfect before I move on. But you don't need to memorize everything perfectly. It will come back over time. But you've got to keep moving through vocabulary because you'll run out of lifetime if you go too slow. I know some people that work on a program and 6 months later they're still on the same page or the same chapter because they never got it right. They should have moved on chapter after chapter after chapter. Then you go back, you keep building and it keeps getting better and you keep moving further along. So you got to keep moving. It's a river, this language. You've got to keep moving and keep consuming as much as you can consume. You also don't want to go so far ahead that you're way in over your head. So you got to back up. You want to have a reasonable level of understanding. You just don't want to shoot for perfection. When you've moved on from that chapter, things will work. The brain's doing little side jobs for you, helping you with your language acquisition. You want to obtain what I call competent self-consumption mode. You want to get so good at your language that you can yourself take any information and consume it. Then you've got it. Then it's just a matter of cranking along. That's where I am. If you give me something in Arabic, I can figure it out. Anything. I will need the aid of my dictionary. Now, Arabic's a good example. If I gave you an Arabic dictionary and you weren't versed in Arabic, you wouldn't know how to use it. You need to have somebody, or figure it out yourself like I did, how to use an Arabic dictionary or whatever language it is you're doing. There's a special problem when you're dealing with languages that have different alphabets, different sounds, different vocalizations of sounds. You really need to have programs that have the CD-ROM capability of audio, visual, translation, and transliteration, so you can put them all together initially. Now I can read in Arabic. It wouldn't have helped me to read in Arabic in the beginning because I had too many things to process. The sounds, the translation, and the transliteration. And transliterations are dangerous. They'll give you an English character letter to represent, say, an Arabic letter, but the fact is, they aren't. They're rough, loose representations, but whenever I see what they call in the dictionary a T, it's not a T. There's a T sound and a T sound, but they really aren't a T. So you don't want to get caught up in trying to associate. Every time you see a word, associate it. You want to kind of flow the information in so it takes on its own identity. So when you see a shajara, a tree, in Arabic, you don't want to say, oh, that is tree, and then, process back to the word. You want to try to just see it, look at it and say shajara. That would be the way to, like a baby does. Someone should come up with a program, a language program called baby language. And you learn it the way babies do. Because we got a baby here at the house, and he's learning his language. It's great. It's a bunch of command forms. Give, get, up, down, hungry, me, now. All those. You could throw a little please in there. You could have a great program. A person could go all over the world with about 100 commands, and they can get whatever they needed. Babies don't need to ask questions other than telling people what they want. It's a great way to learn language. And somehow over time, the baby seems to fill in all the conjunctions and little goodies in the middle, but initially he's able to convey with just a verb and a noun, or a noun and a noun, a scream. I guess screams are universal. Sometimes people, while they're working on language, have fears of failure, fears of success, fears of going out in the world and trying to use a language. Get over it. Come on, we only live once. Go for it. Sometimes I'm studying a language program and they put political messages in there, little agenda items. Have you noticed that? Just a funny little aside. You need a good grammar book that explains things well, maybe two, because some grammar books and dictionaries don't work really well. Sometimes you get a dictionary, it's a one-way dictionary instead of a two-way dictionary. Get a couple dictionaries, get a couple grammar books, because some grammar books explain things better than others. And if you've got a problem, you can go, I have enough books to where if I have a problem, I can solve any problem. I can tell you all about Arabic grammar. I'm not a great reader and I'm not a fast learner, but I'm learning. And bring your stuff with you. Everywhere you go, take it with you. And now I can take an Arabic book, a book in Arabic, and just sit and read. Oh, it feels so great. So, I hope you enjoy learning your language. And some people actually are learning multiple languages at once. I don't think I can handle that. An imam told me once that he was learning 3 languages at once and he enjoyed it and it was easy. Isn't that interesting? So I hope you enjoyed that. I'd love to hear your special secrets because I'm not a language expert. I just know the biggest rule. It's like losing weight, exercise, everything. Sticking with it. That's the key. Stick with it and do smart work.